to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500. This is WNZK, Dearborn Heights, Detroit. Your ethnic superstation at 690 days, 680 nights.
Good morning. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm the host of the Bright Side of Aging and the Entrepreneurs Network radio show. Due to popular demand, today we bring back Bob Allison's Ask Your Neighbor radio broadcast. Bob passed away last March, and due to the current COVID crisis, his broadcast left the air after nearly 60 years of solving household problems for the neighbors. But today, we'll devote a portion of this broadcast to helping you, the neighbors. It could be looking for a particular recipe, where to buy it, how to do it, advice of travel or personal matters, and more. I've invited Bob's son, Rob, to join us for his thoughts and input. Rob has been a critical part of Ask Your Neighbor for some 25 years. The Ask Your Neighbor website, askyourneighbor.com, still offers a number of Bob Allison's popular cookbooks and hundreds of recipes as well. Do you have a common household problem that you'd like solved? Well, while we're on the air, why don't you call our call-in number 248-557-3300 and ask your neighbor. That's 248-557-3300 for the next hour. Wow. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Ike Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate, all sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Ori's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Ike Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I am a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruz Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUZ, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruzhearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruise hearing, ask for the free cookbook and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids, you'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. And welcome. And while we're on the air, since we're throwing out all those phone numbers, if you want to call in and chime in on any of the conversation that we're having or a question that you might have, the on-the-air phone number is, those of you who listen to us frequently, and you should, the on-the-air phone number for the next hour. We welcome your calls and remarks. Phone number on the air, 248-557-3300. And I'm really excited about a book that was written that fits the theme of our audience. And as you know, I like to joke about age, that it's just a number, that it's just a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And I am really excited about having one of the authors of the book, How Seniors Can Save the World. And you're going to have to help me with your last name, PJ.
It's Kittredge.
I'm sorry. Let me write it out clearly for future use. Go ahead.
Okay.
And you had a co-author.
I do. Her name is Thelma Reese.
Okay. That's easier to
yes.
pronounce
yes.
and remember. So tell me about the book. I like to ask all the authors, why did you write the book? What was the motivation?
The motivation amounted to a reaction to circumstances in our society in the last few years, which have culminated in a feeling of inaction and a lack of control over the things that are going on. And since we are both seniors, we wanted to demonstrate that there are many ways that senior citizens right now, whom we've referred to as those with seniority, can make a difference, make a positive difference, either on their own, with a group, starting a group. There are many, many ways. But the world we live in is blessedly free of so many of the diseases and ailments that used to keep people either in bed or wheelchairs. And we still have the passion and the desire and the experience to apply ourselves to things we need to fix.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you got any suggestion as to any of the listeners that share in the philosophy and would like to do something here in Michigan? What would you suggest?
Well, I would suggest looking at the book, excuse me, because let me explain the structure. Each chapter is the synopsis of a story of a person who we interviewed. There are 24 chapters, and each of them is very explicit in the details and how the person was started in the work that they are doing. The end of the chapter is a how-to. It's called How to Connect, and it lists a number of resources that can be used to explore whether a person is interested in getting into that particular cause or need. And it's a ground level way to take the energy that we have and use a very positive approach with it, because we have such a lot of experience and a lot of judgment that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that people in Michigan look at the book and see if it's a book that doesn't have to be read front to back. You can pick a chapter and read it. I do suggest that you read the introductory sections first, so you have an idea of who we are and why we're doing this. But you pick a chapter and a cause that you think you might be interested in, or perhaps you have been interested in, and now have some time to give to it. And if it appeals to you, you can either make a phone call or go online or look for people in your area who might know something about it and see whether your exploration leads you to want to be involved, because engagement is the antithesis of isolation. And as we get older, all the research says that isolation is the downfall of people who are considered seniors or elderly.
Well,
now we have a choice. We have the luxury of some time, and we can add to what we're doing in a very positive way. And each of the people that we interview who are from age 60 to 95, they've made a choice and a decision. Sometimes it started early in life. Sometimes it started because of an event in life. And sometimes it started because there was never time before, but there is now. And each of these individuals has a noble story to tell and has made a verifiable difference in what they are working on.
Now, the people that you interviewed, is there one particular profession that seems to be more involved in this type of approach? Is it psychologists or teachers, or is it cross-section of different professional people?
Well, although it surprises us, or it surprised us when we finished, each of the 24 chapters is not overlapping any others. So we have someone, for instance, who is a gifted artist who works in her own studio. And she has been going to a men's prison for 18 years with a partner in the art department who gives the opportunity to do something creative to the men who are imprisoned, and also gives them an opportunity, for instance, to make a card for a child or a parent or someone that they care for. This is the same person who actually was very active in the elimination of the monopoly of the formula for babies in the 60s and had legislation passed in her state of Massachusetts. So each one is a different approach and a different goal. But the one thing they have in common throughout is that they see that there's something to be fixed. They feel that they can make a positive contribution. And they know, as we do, that all of the things that we've lived through really count in the betterment of society.
So, have any of the people that you interviewed started sort of a friendship type group of, I recall a while back, one of the libraries here in Southfield actually had a book review group, which the whole theme was each person was to read about how aging is looked upon by various authors, and then they had a book discussion. would your book apply to, let's say, people that are looking for ways to connect with other seniors that are active and give them...
Absolutely.
Because I can see
I think that it would be, it would fit that kind of a group very well, because each of the people who are interviewed and the section that shows you how to connect with the organization or the cause, each of them has their own group that they have become associated with, or were the reason that they started their engagement. Mm-hmm. And being able to discuss these things in a group like a book group would be helpful, because each of us has our own pet projects or things that we put at the top of our priority list.
Mm-hmm. Well, locally, I'm involved with a friendship group that's part of a senior center in Farmington Hills, Caustic Center. In fact, we're having a meeting today at 1:00, and these are seniors who just want to share how they can be more active. And in fact, at our last meeting, one of the people there said, "Is there any other volunteer type groups that anybody can put me in touch with? If you can put out that word, especially if you've got, you say 24 different people that you interviewed, is that correct?"
Yes, it is.
So how much does the book cost?
The book is $33. Mm-hmm. It's available on our website, senioractivism.com, or from Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Senioractivism.com. And if anyone is interested in implementing this type of a program locally, I always give out my toll-free number, 1-888-489-8980, and I'll be glad to pick up on your concept. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but are you comfortable with being sort of a consultant for anybody that's listening that wants to start a similar type program here?
Sure. And what they can do is write to us at our website, and we'll be happy to get back to them.
Well, great. Well,
our goal in all of this, I guess the bottom line, is we want the book to catch fire, because when people believe that they're making a difference, they feel that they're taking responsibility. And that gives you a connection and an engagement and a sense of purpose. Mm-hmm. And we all know that that's the secret of life.
Absolutely. And that's what we try to bring out on our program, and that's why, quite frankly, I do the radio show, is to reach out. And for those of you who need some guidance on getting involved with the web, they're welcome to call our toll-free number, and I'll be glad then to put them in touch with you. Tell me about your background. How did you spend your days before you're doing this now?
I have a varied history. I began as a classroom teacher in my professional life, and from there I went to operations in at the time, one of the Big 8 accounting firms. I lived near Philadelphia in New Jersey, and it was in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And from there, I went to a healthcare company that was a client of my firm to open and run the first kind of education department, the training and development of the people in the customer service division. And from there, I went into private practice and was a consultant to many other healthcare companies. And the book became a reality when a mutual friend told Thelma and me that we ought to get together because she knew I liked to write, and she knew that this was the third book for Thelma ultimately. And we had lunch and we talked about it, and we knew in the beginning that our values and philosophy were the same, and it turned into a wonderful project, and our writing styles are very close, so that if people who know us read the book, they won't know where one ends and the other begins, which is a real gift. And it's such a pleasure to have a writing partner, because writing can be isolating by itself. So we've been for the last 2 years in each other's ear and eye to eye. So on a personal level, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and proud of all of that. And unfortunately, I'm a widow who had a wonderful marriage to a wonderful lawyer from Philadelphia. So I'm using all of my instincts and experience. What I found out also when I left education was that so many skill sets are transferable. Being well organized, being able to write, having a way with people. Those are just a few of the things that you develop as a teacher, and they served me very well, and I've enjoyed every single step along the way.
Sounds great, and I'm so glad we had a chance to get to know each other a little bit better, and anyone that's interested in implementing something like that is welcome to call me, and I'll be glad to put them in touch with you. And our toll-free number, as I mentioned, is 888-489-8980. Good luck with the book, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. You're a real inspiration, and keep on inspiring. Right now we got to take a brief break, and we'll be right back with Mr. Lou Goutman for the remaining few moments, so don't you dare go away. In 1932, John B. Frentz moved to Royal Oak and opened Frentz Hardware. In addition to the personal service, the family offered the community a store that provided those needed everyday hardware items. Plus, they specialize in unusual and hard-to-find products. Right now, you'll find all the gardening hardware, fertilizer, seeds, weed killers, and more for your landscape. Frentz Hardware is still family-run at the corner of Main Street and 11.5 Mile Road in Royal Oak, and according to Popular Mechanics magazine, is one of the top 12 hardware stores in the United States. If you can't find it anywhere, you'll find it at Frentz. They're open every day. Call 248-544-8111. And when you call, Bob Allison's cookbooks are available for free. A limited supply is available. And if you would like some information on Bob Allison's cookbooks, by all means, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. But for hardware needs, call them directly, 248-544-8111. With all those numbers, I assume you'll be able to get a lottery ticket for free, or at least $1 million. Hope that you check out Frentz Hardware in Royal Oak. Thank you. And as promised, Mr. Lou Goutman is on the line. Is that you, Lou?
Good morning, Ike. And good morning, neighbors, listeners. And Ike, I want to take this opportunity to wish you a very, very happy birthday and many, many more.
Well, thank you for remembering. You're a real gentleman, and hopefully we can celebrate together for many years to come. Thanks to
I look forward to that.
Well, in my rounds, when I do get out, with a face mask and proper precautions. When I visit any of the advertisers on our show, like Prince, and we also have Joyview Market, if they hear but ask your neighbor, they say, is Lou still around? And I tell them, yes. So you're almost famous.
We're both still around. That's the good news. That's the real good news.
Well, you have a plethora of information. Thought I'd impress you.
Yeah, in the couple of minutes that you have before your next segment, I thought because the weather took a nice turn for the better, and the rest of this week is supposed to be a beautiful week. I would suggest to anybody who's listening, to everybody who's listening, good time to take a good walk around your house and take a look at your windows, your gutters, your roof, and make sure that things look the way they're supposed to be. If there's in need of some caulking around some of the windows or some of the seams, this is a good time to get at it. Or if you can't do it yourself, to call your favorite handy person and have him or her come out and help you, because the cold weather will be coming. This is a nice little reprieve that we have for this week, but the cold weather, the rainy weather, and probably some snowy weather will be heading our way. So this is an ideal time, once again, to get out there and take a look. Just your own property manager, just take a walk around the house, look up, look down around the ground, make sure that if you have drain pipes coming down, that they're draining away from the house, and so that you don't have water leaking into your basement. Take a look up, take a look at your shingles. If the shingles are curled, it might be time to replace them. And if you have trees that are very close to your house, might be a good time to get somebody out there to trim some of the branches. And remember, when the leaves start coming down, they will clog your gutters, and you don't want that, because again, when it rains and snows, you could get what's known as backup of the water or ice damming in the cold weather, and that could cause a lot of problems with leaky roofs and such. So take advantage of the nice weather to get out, walk around. Contractors right now are very, very busy. They're hard to find, so if you do need some work, you want to on the phone and make some calls and line those people up right away, because of the virus earlier in the year. They're backed up. The other thing is, if you need materials, building materials are also on back order. A lot of building materials. So again, any of those jobs that you've been putting off or need to be done, need to have done, this is you want to get on that right away.
Well, that's a great tip. In fact, Friends Hardware, John over there, who's the part of the family that company has been around for almost forever, and they've got referrals of Mr. Fix-It type people that will be glad to share with the listeners. And actually, House Calls on Wheels, that's one of our other sponsors, will send someone out at no charge to do an initial assessment of some of the points that you brought out, and not only outside but inside, to check basic common sense type things that many times people overlook, because you live in a house and you can look at it, but you don't really see it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Like inside the house as well. One of the things that's typically overlooked is your dryer duct from your clothes dryer, and that needs to be cleaned out at once or twice a year. If that hasn't been done, you certainly need to do that. It is a do-it-yourself project for some people, but if not, there are people who can do that. It's not expensive, but by not doing it, lint builds up in that duct, and it's definitely a fire hazard. And in fact, October is Fire Safety Month, so again, a good time to take a look at your dryer duct and some of the things inside your house as well, as I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyone that's interested, by all means, can give us a call at 1-888-489-8980, and we can recommend someone who's reliable and all. And you certainly don't want to get hustled by someone that's knocking on your door and say, hey, I'm fixing such and such a house down the street,
Yes.
and while I'm here, I can give you a substantial discount. Don't go for that, because
I agree. Oftentimes those are scams, and they either take your money and don't do anything, or they take your money and they do shoddy work.
Right.
So I agree. Call, as I said, call his toll-free number and get a referral from somebody who's tried and true and reliable.
Right. Well, it's ask your
everybody
neighbor.
Everybody stay safe and enjoy the nice weather.
Yeah, right. It's wonderful, and with the color changing, it makes it even more wonderful. Lou, as always, it's a delight to talk to you, and we'll talk very soon, maybe even today again.
I look forward to it as always. Again, everybody stay safe. Take care.
Thanks for calling in. Right
Bye-bye.
now, we'll take a brief break, and we'll be right back. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Oury Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate, all sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Oury's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Oury Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I'm a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget, with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruz Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUZ, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruzhearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruz Hearing, ask for the free cookbook and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids, you'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. And welcome to the whole aspect of Ask Your Neighbor, calling in with any issues that you have, because I would love to be able to share your concerns with other neighbors, and especially in the times we're living in right now, being connected with people that are around you is so, so important. And I can't urge you strongly enough not to isolate yourself, because although we have to wear face masks, wash our hands, you know there are a number, as they say. The key is you can still get out and enjoy this wonderful state, especially at this time of the year. It's not too hot and it's not too cold. And you're surrounded by beauty, really. And I like to encourage you to call in while we're on the air at 248-557-3300 if you found some interesting ways to conduct your life in, as they say, in a new normal. So the worst thing to do is just isolate yourself and not be in touch. And why not just share a book that you may be reading, or poems? And I have a poem that was sent to me by one of our listeners, and it's really a neat approach to all of life. And at the end of the poem, if you are interested in getting a copy of it, I'll be more than glad to arrange for that. And the poem is this the worst day ever? And it reads, today was the absolute worst day ever. And don't try to convince me that there's something good in every day. Because when you take a closer look, this world is a pretty evil place. Even if some goodness does shine through once in a while, satisfaction and happiness don't last. And it's not true that it's all in the mind and heart, because true happiness can be obtained only if one's surroundings are good. It's not true that good exists. I'm sure you can agree that the reality creates my attitude. It's all beyond my control. And you'll never in a million years hear me say, today was a very good day. All right, that's the one way of reading the poem. Now, reading it backwards, the poem reads, today was a very good day. And you'll never in a million years hear me say, it's all beyond my control. My attitude creates the reality. I'm sure you can agree that it's not true that good exists, only if one's surroundings are good. True happiness can be obtained because all in the mind and heart. And it's not true that satisfaction and happiness don't last. Some goodness does shine through once in a while, even if this world is a pretty evil place. Because when you take a closer look, there's something good in every day. And don't try to convince me that today was the absolute worst day ever. That doesn't touch you in terms of logic. I'm not quite sure what can. And I can't stress the importance of connecting and by all means calling in if you've got some serious things on your mind or just some fun stuff that you are doing. Call. And while we're on the air, you can call in and be heard by around 10,000 neighbors. I believe the statistics show, based on the coverage of this program. And the on-the-air phone number for the next half hour is 248-557-3300. And I'd like to always leave people with something that they can do actively and being involved in the daily life of people who actually want to get together. And in fact, I'm going to a friendship circle meeting today over at the Caustic Center at 1 o'clock. And, of course, we have the masks and the distancing. It doesn't mean that you can't get together with people. We meet once a month and discuss different issues in our lives and how we're adjusting to it. And we certainly need the adjustment today. And I have some tips that I picked up over the years that I'd like to share with you in terms of having really a more upbeat life. And just a few thoughts is, number one, if you feel stressed out, figure out a way that you are being followed versus being chased. And one of the things, they're always running around saying, oh, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, what have you. Why not consider getting up earlier? What about preparing ahead? I have a habit, frankly, of putting my clothes out the night before, so when I get up in the morning and I'm not quite sure what I want to wear, there it's already set up for me. And speaking of clothes, avoid tight clothes. Unfortunately, Mother Nature has a strange way of making your body reshape. You have many times parts of your body that used to be near the top or closer to your head, and it sort of goes down. And George Burns had a great line. He said, I'm getting to that point in life now that when I bend down, I see what else I can do while I'm down there. And obviously, it's very important to avoid having to take medications that you really don't need. And then another tip is check with your pharmacist and your doctor in terms of you've been on the maintenance type medication as to whether it's necessary for you to continue that. You know, with exercise and proper eating, many times your medication regimen can be dramatically changed where you use less medications. And almost all medications, after you get to a certain point in life, affect how you sleep. Because antihistamines, for example, many times when you're younger, don't actually act on the body the same way as they did before. I hate to oversimplify things, but I've often joked about it, is that we are basically a plumbing and an electrical system. And depending on how the plumbing in our bodies go, and of course the memory portion and what have you, that changes. Yes, as you age, it does not necessarily mean that you have to get stressed out because your memory isn't as good as it used to be. It just takes a bit longer. And how many times have you heard that saying, I got a senior's moment? I hate that philosophy. The point is, you don't necessarily have to dump on yourself, so to speak, because it takes you a bit longer. The good news is, in most cases, unless you have a clinical issue, it just takes you longer to reconnect to someone who you used to be friends with and you forgot their name. So instead of saying, I had a senior's moment, oh, I'm getting old, why not say, it's going to come to me? Talking to yourself in that kind of a fashion can make all the difference in your conducting your life in a positive way versus a negative way. And frankly, I am one of these people that has to have sort of a safety net, and a lot of the things, daily things. For example, I make copies of my car keys. Of course, now they come with 2 sets, or at least a set, so that you can have a set at home. Likewise with your house keys. Why limit yourself to the number of keys? And also, it's important to check out your papers, especially right now. We're wrapping it up for the year in a very short period of time. We have less than 100 days, believe it or not, left for the rest of the year. Go over the important papers that you have, and we can help you by the way of the type of papers that you should hang on to. So all you got to do is call our toll-free number, 1-888-489-8980. We're always available for you when we're off the air to the toll-free number. While we're on the air, 248-557-3300. While we're on the air again, 248-557-3300. And if you are interested in hearing a dynamic entrepreneur, stick around because Michael Jeffries will be on with us in a few minutes, and we're going to share the dynamic Mr. Michael Jeffries. Don't you dare go away. We'll be right back. In 1932, John B. Frentz moved to Royal Oak and opened Frentz Hardware. In addition to the personal service, the family offered the community a store that provided those needed everyday hardware items. Plus, they specialize in unusual and hard-to-find products. Right now, you'll find all the gardening hardware, fertilizer, seeds, weed killers, and more for your landscape. Frentz Hardware is still family-run at the corner of Main Street and 11.5 Mile Road in Royal Oak, and according to Popular Mechanics magazine, is one of the top 12 hardware stores in the United States. If you can't find it anywhere, you'll find it at Frentz. They're open every day. Call 248-544-8111. And when you call, Bob Allison's cookbooks are available for free. A limited supply is available. And if you would like some information on Bob Allison's cookbooks, by all means, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. But for hardware needs, call them directly, 248-544-8111. With all those numbers, I assume you'll be able to get a lottery ticket for free, or at least $1 million. Hope that you check out Frentz Hardware in Royal Oak. Thank you. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Oury Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate. All sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Oury's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Oury Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. And we also now have a sweet, dynamic guy on, Michael Jeffries. Are you there, Mr. Jeffries?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. And for those folks, the few folks that do not know the company that you started how many years ago?
It was actually 32 and a half years ago.
Wow. Michael Jeffries is a real dynamo, and for those folks that don't know his history, I'm proud to have known him for most of those years because he has a Yes Network. So, Michael, tell us about the Yes Network.
So So it was back in the 1980s. I had a chance occurrence of meeting a gentleman who I was actually responding to an ad for free kittens, and I showed up at the guy's house, and he, besides picking out the kittens, I noticed on his bookshelf that he had a bunch of, they weren't books, and I didn't really know what they were. They were these plastic boxes, and I started asking him about what are those, and he started explaining that they are personal and professional development experts. They're authors and speakers and motivational speakers and all these people who can help you to increase your sales and manage your life more effectively and manage your time and create bigger goals and stay more motivated and stay more positive and be a more effective leader and lower your stress. And I was like, wow, I never heard of anything like that. I mean, here I was, a University of Michigan graduate, having spent tens of thousands of dollars on my education, and they never exposed me to those types of topics. I told them, I said, it sounds really interesting. Tell me more about it. And he said, rather than let me tell you about it, let me let you borrow one of the programs. So, he gave me a program called How to Outperform Yourself Totally by Mark Victor Hansen, who later became one of the co-authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I gotta tell you, he was so inspiring and so uplifting. He got me thinking about my life and what I could do and what I could be and a larger vision. I got so excited listening to that audio program. I went back a week later and borrowed another one, and a week later another one, and over 6 months I literally borrowed his entire collection of dozens of programs featuring people like Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield, Rita Davenport, and Joel Weldon, and Anthony Robbins, and Zig Ziglar, and I could go on and on. Phenomenal speakers, and they changed my life in so many ways. Well, as I got more positive and more inspired by these programs, an idea hit me one day. I thought, what if I want to create a way to bring this type of learning to other people. And the other thing I noticed was as I became more and more positive and optimistic from listening to these programs, I noticed a lot of people were negative around me. I don't know, maybe the more optimistic you get, the more you notice negativity, but that's what started to happen. And I decided to come up with an idea I came up with this idea to form a club, a networking group where positive people would come together. And when I further expanded the idea in my mind, I envisioned the speakers that I had been listening to on these audio programs actually showing up and speaking to the audience, this group, our networking group. And that's why I formed the idea in 1988. I came up with the idea for the Yes Network, yes being the most positive word in the English language, and started bringing speakers into Michigan. And people said, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to afford to pay the speakers? Because, speakers like this are thousands and thousands of dollars. And I said, I'll just make it work. And I used the principles that I had learned in these programs to make it work. And, it's interesting because when I started out, I went down to the Wayne State, down at Wayne State, they have it's called SCORE. A lot of the listeners are probably familiar with it. It's the Senior Corps of Retired Executives. And these are people who've been there, done that. They're very successful people. And their role in SCORE is to help young entrepreneurs to develop their ideas and help them, support them and encourage them and give them ideas on how to grow their businesses. So I went down there with a lot of high hopes, and I told the guy, I said, I'm going to start this networking group with speakers, and we're going to have 500 members. And he looked at me and said, well, I think you're being a little bit unrealistic with your numbers. I said, I thought I was coming here for support and encouragement. And I said, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate your time, but I'm just going to move on. And I closed my notebook and I walked out of there. He was absolutely right. We only were able to attract about 200 members the first year. Well, in the second year, we got over 400. The third year, we got over 700. The fourth year, we were over 900. And here we are in year number 33, having helped over 10,000 people here in Michigan to improve their lives, to network with others. It's been a spectacular way to help people. So lesson one, don't let people tell you what you can't do, what's not realistic for you. A lot of things are realistic that other people never thought were. Like, you all know you've heard of Roger Bannister, who was the first person to break the 4-minute mile. Before he broke the 4-minute mile, people believed it was impossible to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Yet as soon as he did it, a whole bunch of other people did it. So don't let people tell you what you can't do, what you can't be, what you can't have, what you can't achieve, because a lot of it is really how you position yourself and what you believe and what you attract. And there's so many other principles involved. So stay positive.
Absolutely. Well,
now, Ike, would you like me to go on to tell about how Seminars on Demand was founded?
Yeah, go ahead. We have just a few minutes. I want to make sure that people know what the Seminars on Demand is all about, especially right now. People have got, unfortunately, more time to be at home than ever before. But go ahead.
Yeah, so let me just wrap up the first part that I talked about. If you're interested in learning more about Yes Network, our website is yesmidwest.com. Yesmidwest.com. And right now, because we're not able to do the big live events where hundreds of people show up and the speakers are live on stage, we are doing webinars every other month for now until we're able to reopen the live seminars. We're doing them as webinars, which have been fantastic. Phenomenal reviews we're getting from people. Now, in 2002, I came up with another idea. I thought, these seminars are going so well. We're helping so many people. I don't just want to help people in Michigan. I want to help people all over the world. And I came up with the idea, if I could start filming these programs, recording them professionally using 4 cameras and HD video, and I thought maybe people all around the world would want to tap into these seminars. And that's when I created Seminars on DVD, which later became Seminars on Demand. And since then, we have helped over 1 million people around the world to better their lives through the power of video learning. And now, of course, we're online at seminarsondemand.com. And it's been an amazing journey helping people all over the world, and the feedback we're getting from people, how it's changed their lives, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, well, and you are as well. And anyone that's interested can call our toll-free number 1-888-489-8980, and we can put you on the contact list of when the webinars are going to be on. When is your next one, Mike?
Well, the webinars happen every other month for the local people in Michigan here, but for those listening around the country, I'm going to highly recommend that you tap into Seminars on Demand. And if you call that toll-free number, Ike can give you a link where you can try it out for free. It's only, even the cost is ridiculously low. For an ongoing subscription, it's just $19.99 a month for unlimited access to all the seminars in the collection. And there's well over 100 of them with literally a couple of hundred hours of learning. In fact, that online program has been approved by the Michigan Department of Education for continuing education credits for all educators. So any teachers, principals, deans, etc., they can all get their CE credits through this amazing online program. But just for your own personal and professional development, it's a life changer. Mm-hmm. Some people just want to opt for our entry-level program, which is just 1 seminar a month for $7.99. Anybody can afford $7.99 to better their life and take it to the next level. So
right, well,
I highly encourage people to check it out and see what the possibilities are for you.
Well, just the connection alone, and the fact is that as you may know, the Entrepreneurs Network group, we meet by Zoom meetings. So that's available for free to be able to meet with fellow entrepreneurs. Yes, there are a lot of opportunities right now, even though, quote unquote, we're under lockdown. And with a person like Michael Jeffries at the helm, we can make it happen. Thanks so much for calling in, and we'll be in touch. Have a great day, Mr. Michael Jeffries.
Thank you, Ike. Thank you.
Right now, folks, I only have enough time for my favorite parting remark, since we're talking about entrepreneurship and all, and that is that if you really want to get anything done in life, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. And there is no excuse for not achieving your dreams and goals in America, because it is the greatest country in the whole world. Remember, a goal is just a dream with a deadline.